Spartans to Halo Headlines, part of Evolved, your home for Halo. In this week's recap, we will cover all of the top news from the week of July 11th. I'm your host, Aaron, and with me today we've got Lucas.
Hello.
Before we get into the news and the headlines this week, we would just like to take a minute to thank all of our patrons for their continued support and allowing us to continue making this show. Thank you very much, guys.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Your contributions do many things, including allow us to upgrade Lucas's microphone. That's one of our most recent things.
My gaming headset isn't going to cut it for much longer.
No, I suppose while we're at it, that is actually a headline. Lucas is now going to be a permanent host. We have poached him Halsey style from the community. He's now one of us. By the time you listen to this, if you get a minute, go say congratulations to Lucas.
Yeah, appreciate that. Colin still wants a finder fee.
He does, but he's not getting one. We don't get paid for this. I told him he can have 10% of his annual salary, which is nothing, so that's it. There's only money in the kitty to buy equipment. That's it. There's no money for anything else.
Maybe we should get him a nice Christmas card or something like that.
Nah, he'd be alright. He'd be totally fine. If you would like to become a patron and help us do things like buy new equipment for hosts, you can do that by going over to patreon.com/Halo Evolved to learn more about all of the rewards. We've got things like early access to episodes, unique swag, access to our soundtrack, and the secret Discord channel. Ooh. Also, if you have a minute, we would like you to go and just have a look on the website. Ian does a lot of work there. It's a good website. We like it.
Very good website.
It is. HaloEvolved.com. Very proud of it. It's come on so far from the early days. Right, going from that, we're going to cover our headlines this week. We have 3 bits of news and one sort of thing we did this week. So, Lucas, take us away with our news.
All right, so first off, we got a few leaks that have been leaked, and I've seen these on Reddit. So the first leak is the DMR. It is apparently coming to Halo Infinite at some point. That's kind of all that's been said. There's a second leak with 2 new AIs that have been leaked. One of them is called Maddie, and there's really not much information on who Maddie is, but the other one we all know and love is Auntie Dot, and I think having an Auntie Dot AI would be fantastic.
I'm surprised, actually, that we didn't get that one for the Reach theme.
Yeah, we got Virgil.
Dot seems like she would have made a lot of sense, so I look forward to that, because you don't get a lot of time with Dot. Actually, if you're not paying attention when you play Reach, you nearly wouldn't realize that she's there, because she only speaks to you occasionally, and she doesn't really speak to you during the gameplay. It's just during those cutscenes at the start when she's overlaid on the map.
When she's talking to Carter.
Yeah, so you don't really see a big pile of her, but it would be cool to get more out of her. I'm keen for that. And as for the DMR, I'm really excited about that. The DMR is one of my favorite Halo weapons.
It is it will kind of be with the Stalker rifle, I guess, would be its human comparison, because the BR and the Stalker rifle don't really compare. It's a burst versus a semi-automatic rifle, so, hopefully the DMR fills that human role. I was also saying about Maddie, I'm looking at the picture, and it kind of looks like the grenade from Halo 4. It's like the Promethean grenade, and that's the texture that it's showing. It's like a pink, I don't know, I have no idea. It might be a Forerunner AI that they've turned into a suit AI, so that's maybe my guess.
That would be interesting. I'd be curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, so that's the rumor news. So the other news we have is we got the Cutting Room Cores Modding Evolved Part 2 through Halo Waypoint, and so there are 3 parts, and so we already had Cutting Room Floor, and so this is Cutting Room Core, and then the last one is Cutting Room Lore. And so it is a pretty decent article. It's got a whole bunch of it's like an interview with some of the modders. And so the big thing to take out of this is a lot of the weapons that didn't make it into the game. So they've got like a chain gun that didn't make it into the game. They've got some maps. I'm looking at some of the pictures. They've got the assault rifle grenade launcher. They've got a concussion gun, a jump gun. They're talking about some of the animals, some of the reloads, and then I'm trying to see what else they've got here. And then they've just upped the triangles. So for the chain gun, originally back in the 90s, it had 363 triangles, but now it's currently at 1,004 triangles. So they, up-resed all the textures and making it look a little nicer. So
I'm looking here. The one that caught my eye is the gravity wrench, which has gone from 284 triangles to 2,532.
it's a lot of triangles.
There's a lot of interesting things here. It's like that last article that we went over. It's so big, and there's so much to go over.
There's a lot.
It's a sit down and look at it thing. It's nothing we're going to do justice even on the news show talking about.
No, it is a lot of information that kind of goes over my head on all the technicalities and some of these things. One of the weird things, I'm looking at one of these pictures, and it's Pelican dropping off a Warthog, and they've got a Marine, but they've got this sergeant-looking Marine standing here, and it looks like an old 1940s like Luger pistol that they strapped a whole bunch of like cool sci-fi attachments on it. It's like at the end of the article, and you can see the whole back Luger thing that comes up when it shoots. This is a really weird design that they picked one of those pistols for a concept, and that'd be really cool to see implemented in a Halo game.
Yeah, I look forward to hopefully getting my hands on this. Maybe we'll get it in Xbox Master Chief Collection someday.
So yeah, go ahead, check that out. Read the article if it makes sense to you. I am glad. If it doesn't make sense to you like it didn't for us, just look at the cool pictures.
Don't feel too bad about it. That's my life all the time when it comes to these things.
I guess the last thing news-wise is the Halo Infinite co-op flight was released a little later than expected. So it was released on the 15th and instead of the 11th like we all thought it was. And we actually got to play some of it today, a few hours ago.
We fired it up. I am still an insider from the last time, from the flights before it came out. I got it updated, had a go there with you. We dragged a couple of people on from Discord as well because we wanted to see could we get a full team of 4 in. So we played our way basically as far as the first open world section. So we were just we took the first forward operating base and then we were just mucking around for a while. It played smoothly. Now, we did notice the occasional little bit of, maybe not lag would be quite the right word, but more of a stutter sometimes when teammates would go to sprint. But for the most part, it was probably about as solid as Halo 5 was for me in terms of playing co-op, which is, because it's server-based and not peer-hosted, buttery smooth compared to like the games me and David have played of old Halo on Master Chief Collection. Such an improvement.
Oh yeah, definitely. The one issue we did have with you was it was right when we picked up, I think it was right after we picked up the weapon, and it's putting us through like this elevator scene, and it's like you glitched out on your side of things, and you were just kind of standing and hovering in the middle with the rest of us, while me and the other guys were actually on the elevator riding it up, and your character was there too. But once it got to the end point, you kind of like spawned back in normally, and we had no issues with that. So other than that, like that was, but it's a flight, so if that's the worst the flight's going to give us, like I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I got a video clip of that, so once we're actually done recording here, I'll upload that to the Facebook group so people can see it. But that was about the only real big glitch we had. Takeaways from it, I suppose, things of note that I noticed. There is no collision physics between players. There is friendly fire, so you can shoot, grenade, beat down your teammates. But when you run at them, you run through them. So you can't hit into someone and nudge them off the wall. Which, I suppose, on the one hand, I kind of expected it because I feel like... I'm trying to think, is that the same in the old... I think it's the same in the old Halos, isn't it? Like, if you're playing Halo 3, do you run through each other?
No, there's collision physics in all the older Halo games. Oh, yeah, because I remember on Halo 3, on the last level, you jump on top of your buddies to get to the
that is
ghost.
Right. We did that in Combat Evolved to get one of the skulls as well. Now that you've said that, that immediately comes back to mind. Yeah, so that's not possible with this, but we can, you can grapple off your teammates, which is something we played about with. You uploaded a video to the Facebook. Yes, you can chain your grapple shots to each other.
Yes, we got all four of us to chain a grapple shot. And we got pretty far, and I ended up hitting a wall. And we could have probably gone a little farther if we found a nice area, but I think we're going to try it at some point and get on to the highest point of Halo Infinite and see how far we can grapple.
Yeah, the only downside is because it's the flight, we have to play through the missions to get there, so we are not too far at the minute, so I'll have to boot it back up during the week and see can I get a bit further with it. But I was pretty pleased with how it went. Like, we didn't get too far. Some of the questions we have are things like, what's the limit on marine AI sizes with 4 players? Is it limited to the standard number, or are we going to be able to fill a Razorback each with AI with super weapons? So these are the things that we're going to have a look at. But in terms of the actual, the distance between players, now we established that it is the distance around the party leader. So because we weren't sure at 1,000 meters from your team, was it 1,000 meters per player, and we could chain that together, much like we chain the grapple shot. But it does appear to be 1,000 meters from the party leader, and then you die and you respawn back near either the party leader or the nearest player between you and the party leader. So that sort of makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So we're not sitting there 4,000 meters away from everybody. And
yes, this was my great question: was could we just make a 4,000 meter long or foot long chain and sweep across the island? But that sort of makes sense.
The other thing we learned was, this is not really a big thing, but only one person can get the tank gun. We had one guy who had previously gotten the tank gun and he loaded in with it, and I went to pick up the tank gun and I could not get it. So maybe we haven't tried if we all got the tank gun and loaded into a game, and does it only allow one of us. But if somebody has it, you cannot pick it up again. But it is still usable, and it's really funny when the person with the tank gun gets into a vehicle. They don't sit in the vehicle normally. They kind of hover over the vehicle. So if you're on the back of a mongoose, you're kind of standing on top of it, or in a warthog, you're kind of standing on top of it as well.
Also, when you die and you respawn, you come back with your loadout as it was when you died, so you don't lose your weapons, which is nice. Because we tried a couple of different things with that, but if you have something you like, you come back with it again.
I will say I like that system, but at the same time, it might not be the best system. Is sometimes you would purposely die to get more ammo, sort of a thing, and you spawn with the same. You don't get your full loadout back with all the ammo. You get what you died with. So if I had 20 rounds left in my assault rifle, I would have 20 rounds left in my assault rifle when I respawned.
It's kind of I suppose it's a give and take in that situation, but I do like that if I've picked up particular weapons, I will come back with those. Also, we did discover little things like the ammo refills count separately for each person. So when I run up to the refill and empty it, it's still available for the other 3 players on the team. We're not fighting over the one refill.
I would say when I listened to this stream the other day, they did say that they are adjusting it based on squad size. So the more players you have, the more ammo will be available for people.
Well, you see, it's not even that there's more ammo. It just outright, when I took the ammo, it said on mine that it was depleted, but then you guys were able to run up and get it. So I think it's just it's instance on its own. So there is, I assume it just goes by, there's 3 players, so each person gets their own refill out of it. But it seemed to be that case that someone else ran up to it, loaded their gun up, and then I ran up and it still said it was full. But when I loaded up, it then said, oh, it's depleted. But then the next person ran up. So I like that because that saves arguing and fighting and trolling and all that sort of stuff, which is good.
I could just imagine Krista trolling and stealing all the ammo.
Yeah, and the same with vehicles and that. The one thing I did notice was a little slow was at the fobs, bringing up the menu to look through the weapons takes a little minute. It's a little sticky. So I don't know if that's just an issue with internet connections or what, but we'll see how that goes. But overall, for having played about an hour of it before we recorded tonight, I was pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed too. We had a lot of fun. It's been a while since I've said I had a lot of fun with my buddies in a Halo campaign.
Yeah, I think that's really the thing. Co-op is just made to fuck about in, and Infinite might be the most fuckaboutable Halo of them all, because once you get all that equipment fully upgraded and you're all shooting around with the fast recharge on the grapple shots and your electric ground pound and all sorts of things, like, I imagine there's all sorts of dumb shit can be going on there.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to do that. I've immediately thought, by the way, I'm going to put this thought out in the air. We'll try it for the next time. We make a square and we all grapple shot to the next person on the side of the square and see does it pull us all into the middle and shrink.
That would be interesting. Maybe we all like start spinning in a circle or something like that because we're continuously going for the next person. That would be something to try out.
Well, so now that I've thought of that, that's the next thing we need to try. But those are thoughts we're going to have this week. So, okay, I think we'll call it quits here because this is a headlines episode and we don't want to be too long.
Yes.
We will play more co-op as the week goes on, and then we will have thoughts at the end of the month when we do our live news show. Alright guys, thank you very much for joining us for another Halo Headlines episode. Like I mentioned at the top of the show, if you enjoyed this episode and want to listen to more, please go and check out the website, haloevolved.com. It's got the feeds and libraries for all of our shows. That's Podcast Evolved, Mission Debrief, Builds with Blocks, Halo TV Plus, Halo Gear Guide, and the Halo Book Club. Also listen to our partners Josh and Will over at HCS Pro Talk for all your competitive Halo needs. And once again, another special shout out to all of our patrons for supporting the show and helping make everything we do possible. Head to patreon.com/Halo Evolved to learn more. And with that, I have been your host Aaron, and until next time, Evolved.
Evolved.